Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I mean, right off of that, I'm curious, Francis, did you keep anything from Saturday night as a little relic for yourself?
What do you mean, Jacob?
Do you keep your shorts, your gloves, your tape? I mean, did you keep any of your items from Saturday night?
Yes, I keep everything except the giveaway that the one that I give to the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I give them my shirt, but I keep anything.
That seems like a smart investment. I would protect that stuff. So.
Yeah, I always collect my stuff since my first UFC gloves. I was collecting them until somebody break in my house and stole them 2 years ago. But other than that, I had them all together, like because for me it was something collectible. Uh, but the best is to come, so I don't complain.
That's I don't know if I would get over that, but I guess that's the difference between you and me and where you are. So I think everybody got a taste there of how forward thinking you are, and how smartly and ambitiously you've planned this one. And we want to talk about the NFT that you dropped over the weekend. But first off, I just want to say congratulations for the win on Saturday, and I want to know what these last couple of days have been like for you.
Thank you, Jacob. The last couple of days has been very crazy. Obviously, feel great, feel very happy, very excited about what is up to come. But at the meantime, haven't taken time to collect my emotion and really realize what's going on and how to do it. But good news, I have a manager right here who know how to do things, so I don't have to worry about all those stuff. I wake up every day, he tell me what to do, what time, check me, almost check if I brush my teeth in the morning, but which is good.
Martin, thank you so much for joining us. So yeah, let's jump back a couple weeks ago before your fight, heading into it. You're in the middle of training for the biggest night of your life, I have to imagine. And Marquel comes to you, maybe, or somebody else comes to you and says, so there's this new thing, it's called NFT. and Big. Tell me about that conversation. How did you guys get into this?
Okay, so that exactly what happened. It was like more than a few weeks. I think it was almost 2 months out of the fight, and we had this whole meeting, like with the crew, with the team, with Marquel, Brad, Brian, Jennifer, and we were in the room. He was like, "Bro, I know I haven't tell you this, but we've been working behind the scene of the NFT. I'm gonna explain it to you later, but we've been working. Technically, is this, is a new version of like signing card, but digital." I'm like, okay, like how did it work? So it took me like like 1 month to truly like understand how it works. I mean, no fully understand, but understand at least a little bit the way that I can explain to somebody, because even today, people still like, oh, we saw this NFT thing. What is that? I'm like trying to explain to them, but not as clear as much. But after, but now I have a good knowledge about it, so I explained to people. But he was fun. He was funny to see that I was already in it, and he was already took some action about it and planned everything, set everything up. I'm like, trust me, bro, this is gonna be great. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, Marquel, tell me about the opportunity that you saw here, and the way to be a first mover in this space and to do something a little bit different, because this was tied to a physical, to a real world event in a way that most of these other NFT drops have not been.
Yeah, well, I guess it kind of all started on Clubhouse. I was on Clubhouse, right? That the new social
Where all good things start,
media app, right? Where all good things start. and I popped into an NFT room, and I love to just go into these rooms and just listen, sit back, and try to learn as much as possible. And, you know, I never try to be, you know, the smartest person in the room, but I always try to be the hardest worker in the room. So I'm listening in and hearing about all this great stuff, about this NFT collectibles. And what I noticed was that it was an unbelievable community, right? And so my next step was I raised my hand in one of the rooms. I said, hey, I'm Marquel Martin. I represent, you know, Francis Ngannou, and I have this idea, but I want to share it. Like, what do you guys think? Right. And a lot of people gave such great insight. And I connected with a lot of people from that clubhouse room. Right. Fast forward, my team and I were asking as many questions as we can, having as many phone calls as we can, and knowing Francis, he's all about community and his fan base, right? Obviously, you know, leading with the foundation, we always try to attach everything that we do to his foundation, because, you know, the kids that he represents, and of course his entire country is very important to him. So the idea just came to mind. I said, okay, first and foremost, how can we, you know, create an NFT surrounding Francis, right, and tell a story with it, you know, but also I try to lead with respect with any new community, right? Because I can't just jump in as a sports agent and have my athlete and say, hey, we're going to take over this NFT thing, right? That would be very naive of us to do that. So doing some quick research, what I found was that the artists really drive this community, right? They're the value, in my opinion. And there's an artist by the name of Boss Logic, who is not only a great artist, but he's well known in the in the MMA community. So I wanted to combine the two together. So reached out to Boss Logic through one of the media members, Sandu, said, hey, Francis Ngannou, we're trying to put together an NFT. He was all about it. And really, that's how it kind of got started. And then I'll point out some key points that we wanted to make sure that we did, right? Obviously, Gronk went first, I think it was, in terms of mainstream sports. And then there was Patrick Mahomes. And what we wanted to make sure is that from learning from them, that we add another layer onto it, right? Another layer of, hey, a fan, in case there's a barrier to entry, how do we give access to the fans? And we did a tremendous partnership with My Key Live, which helped us do a fan giveaway. And then we also wanted to make sure that we tell a story through this collection of NFTs. So we didn't know if it was going to flop or be a success. We're proud of it. You know, I'm very, very excited for the future. And, you know, CAA, the group internally, you guys will also see Zion's drop as well. But I think, you know, all things being said, it's just about trying to be innovative as much as we can, and respect the community, and try to do things right.
Yeah, I mean, flop or success. I mean, so we're obsessed with the money here at Sportico. That's what we do. So you look at these numbers. You know, I think that the total purse maybe from Saturday night was somewhere in the range of 700,000. And this NFT drop, the revenue, obviously not all of that goes to you, but nearly 600,000 from the drop. So I mean, we're talking pretty close to equivalent, you know, gross revenue here from winning the UFC heavyweight title and putting together this art sale, really, you know, in the course of a couple of weeks, and then doing it over the weekend in the unique way you did. So what was your guys' reaction? You know, you dropped Friday, those quickly sell, and then Saturday after the win, and in the next couple of days, what was the reaction to seeing the interest in this, and then ultimately the results?
I'll take this, and then I'll let Francis talk about kind of the one-of-one, because that was a really fun experience, right? So we, again, another element of, you know, just us trying to be innovative. We said, okay, let's bet on ourselves. Let's release 2 open editions prior to the fight, and if and when, right, he wins, we'll drop an additional 2. So that was a ton of anxiety in and of itself, right? Knowing that we had created 4, but we didn't know if 2 were going to drop or not. So once Francis won the fight and became champ, right? Like, I mean, of course we were screaming that Francis realized his dream, and then we had a nice little, I guess, dessert, if you will, by seeing the NFTs release and drop. And then remember, Francis, the 1 of 1, like that auction bid was just crazy. So it was. I'll let Francis touch on that when we saw that kind of go back and forth.
Yeah. The first drop was great. I mean, I think he was barely 15 minutes, and he was sold out. And after the fight, I think, when was that, Marquel? On Monday? Yes, on Monday.
Yeah.
We were somewhere. He out here in Vegas. He has to go eat his favorite pizza or something. And we were there with his wife, and getting into this the one-on-one, and check that out, and keep touching base with Brad, who was the one that like really follow up. He was like on his computer all the time while we were eating our pizza, So, and it came out. I'm like, okay, guy, this is good news. It's like 10 minutes out. It's 110, 110K. This is really good. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like, for one card. And 2 minutes later, he called and like, no, somebody put on a bet, so he's still there. Then he started go, and man, I think this was the most exciting thing that I've been through. Like, to just see how it goes. Like, then, like, after 2 minutes, somebody put a bet, and it just keep going. And man, like, we went from 110 that we were so excited and happy about it to 281 or 286.
284.
Yeah.
284, and we had no expectations, right? We were going to be happy, like if it just did 10% of that. But it just goes to show you, again, without trying to look at just the cash component, it just goes to show you what this marketplace can yield itself, and how much the fans and or the collectors like really appreciate, right, Francis and the artwork itself by Boss Logic, right? So we don't take too much credit. Like, we definitely are proud of the hard work behind the scenes that we all put in. We look forward to doing more and continuing, but again, it was just a nice little runway to see that, okay, telling a story makes sense, right? The utilities that we put behind the NFTs itself, right? Like, I'm super excited because Francis is going to get, with the 1 of 1, it's going to come with some signed gloves and encased with the actual sand from Africa and the sand mine that he worked at as a kid, and that's what's so important for us, is like making sure that we try to not offer the digital component, but also those tangible items that the fans and or collectors can really be proud of and be a part of Francis's legacy moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to wrap up here shortly, but I wanted just to ask, as you mentioned, you win the title. That's not the end of your career. That's far from it. You're going to be in the octagon again. Are we going to see another NFT drop? Are you guys already talking about what's next for you guys?
Yeah, I think, this thing was so exciting, especially like the one-on-one, because at first I wasn't understand exactly what was going on, and like going to the one-on-one sale, he was so excited. Like, it wasn't about how much he was sold, but how you see people put the value in it, the value and the comments of fans and all these things coming around it together. I think just that's what's like very fun and entertaining. And obviously, for the future, after I think for every fight, I'm gonna drop a NFT.
Francis and Marquel, I want to get out on this. The famous Mike Tyson quote that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, I love the fact that you had a plan before you got punched in the face. And I would think it's easier to make a living by not getting punched in the face, even though that's the core of what you love to do. So just Francis and Marquel, if we can close out, what is the long range plan? How do you capitalize on not only the one moment, but the notoriety, the popularity, the story, the community, everything that you have created? And this is only the beginning.
Well, I will let Marquel answer that, because as my manager, that's exactly his job. That's exactly what he has been doing. So he will have a better way to explain it more than me, because most of the time I just listen and he tell me what is going on in my life. I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be my life, but makes sense, So he's the man that have a good game plan for that.
Yeah. Scott, I'll try my best to answer your question, but I think I would say that like you said, we had a plan, right? And thank God that it came out great for us, right? And I think it's just about taking a leap of faith, right? Moving forward, and that's what we did with this, right? Trying to be a first mover in the space without knowing too much. But again, I think it's just a huge testament, and also working in parallel with Francis's entire life story, right? He took a leap of faith on himself, right? To come from Cameroon, from next to nothing, and chase a dream and become heavyweight champion of the world. So when it comes to just the future, we're just going to continue to take those leaps of faith, right? And being innovative and being creative and making sure that we add value to the fans that help, Francis, right, propel throughout the sport and throughout mainstream media. So we're super excited about the future. We're super humbled that people are now, seeing Francis as just more than a fighter, right? He's an amazing human being, an amazing figure in sports, and we can't wait to see what happens. But I think the legacy will continue, and we're just getting started, as you said.
Okay, last question for you, Marquel. What time will Francis be brushing his teeth tonight?
We got him scheduled tonight. He has a few meetings about 9:50 p.m. But
all right, so let's get that last snack in about 8:15, 8:30. Okay, Francis, you don't want to have to do it twice.
Okay, Scott, I get you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it.